If you think you're ready to retire, hold up, because the numbers might tell a different story.
Yeah, because according to the latest data, the average 401k balance for people in their 60s is nowhere near what most folks think they'll actually need to stop working.
Yeah, so today we're actually going to break down in this episode the real stats behind retirement readiness. How much people in their 60s, 50s, late 50s to 60s actually have saved, what that means for financial freedom, and what you can still do if you're feeling a little bit behind.
So whether you're a few years away from retirement or you're maybe like us or younger, just starting to build your nest egg, this episode of the Banking Bros podcast will show you how to close the gap and why this might be your biggest asset to think about right now.
Okay, before we get started, let's do things in a little different order today, if that's all right. Before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to a follower who followed us over on YouTube this week.
Let's go. Kobe Howarth. But Kobe, what's up? Kobe Howarth 4178 on YouTube. Appreciate you subscribing. What we do here on this channel is we shout out to you. So hit us back and let us know that you've heard it or you've seen it wherever you like to stream or watch our podcast. Secondly, if you have questions, comments, and concerns about cash flow, that's what we're here to talk about. Appreciate you.
Yeah, this episode specifically, Kobe, is all about retirement, and actually an article that we're going to dive into in just a second that we found dated at the time of recording this podcast. The article is dated, I think, 2 weeks ago, 14 days ago.
All right.
And we're going to talk about retirement specifically and some of the, traditional, typical retirement accounts and how much is actually in them and how much you might actually need to retire. We found this article. We thought it'd be fun to share. So, Kobe, if that's something that you're planning for or wanting to think about, make sure you stay tuned. Drop us a comment, leave us a question, and we'll make sure we answer it for you.
Okay, here we go. So, according to industry data from Empower, ladies and gentlemen, the average 401k balance for someone in their 60s is approximately $568,040. Okay, $500,000.
Yep.
Plus. However, the median 401k balance for the same age group is much lower, $188,792.
Yeah, so let's first throw up this article, okay? So everyone who's paying attention to this podcast episode today, we are getting this information from this Investopedia article. It says, think your retirement savings are enough? Well, here's the average 401k for people in their 60s. This article came out, like we said, in October of 2025, and I'm going to scroll past key takeaways because they kind of summarized it right at the beginning, and I'm going to go right to the first kind of section of this article where it talks about the average balance and the median balance. So the average balance, Jeremiah, was taken from June of 2025. Okay. $500,000. If you'll, I think everybody's going to be okay with me rounding. $568,040.
Yes.
$500,000 in June. They actually said that balance was slightly lower.
Okay.
Than the average 401k balance for people in their 50s.
Well, I assume that might be because two things that I'm going to assume.
Yep.
One is people in their 60s are drawing.
Yeah. Well, that's what the article said.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm just looking at okay.
Yep.
And then second is because people in their 50s would have potentially started at a different time. And maybe the market was better when they started.
Yep.
Or the people in their 60s had a dip when the people in their 50s had not yet started.
That
right? You have to put all that in,
because
right?
the market.
Okay.
Yeah. I totally get it. Okay, so here's what's fun about that in averages. We've talked about averages so much on our shows up to this point, right? And this article even says it. It says, keep in mind averages can be easily skewed.
Yes.
With just a few 401ks with very high or very low balances, that drastically impacts your average.
Yeah, so we got to be reminded what the difference is between average.
That's why you might actually want to pay more attention to the median, the middle of the road number. So let's talk real quick about an average and a median.
Yeah, so average means that we're going to have to factor in all balances, including the ones that are bajillions, and most people don't have those.
Yep.
But it'll skew the numbers higher.
Yep.
And secondly, Median is taking the middle range. So it's more like that bell curve graph.
Yep.
Where in the world do most people have money? And that's 188.
Yeah. So that's important, right? The middle of the road number, the median amount for those in their 60s had saved in June of this year was $188,792,
which will get the average family through about 2 years,
maybe
4.
The way that the prices in these grocery stores are going up.
I mean, if you're in a single wide by yourself, you
Sure.
got 4 years in there. You got 4.5 years.
At 188.
No,
Then
no.
What are you gonna do?
No, you're gonna move in with somebody who's got the double.
You sure are. So here's the problem. We've talked about this on our show before. We even had a live webinar recently where we asked people to kind of figure their retirement number.
Oh yeah,
you remember that?
Freedom number, retirement number.
Right. And so I think for those of you who are listening and or watching at home, on the road, wherever you're doing that, you've got to think this through. How much do you actually need? So we've had people figure this before. We've said take your annual budget, how much it costs your family to live every single year. I think on a previous episode I said my family, it costs about $5,000. $5,000 for my family to live. We said we'll take that number, multiply it by 12 every month of a year. So now I'm at $60,000, $5,000 by 12, 60. And then say, well, Jonah, okay, if you want to retire at 60 and the average life expectancy is 80, 85, you've got 20 or 25 years. If you need $60,000 for 20 or 25 years, how much do you actually need if you're going for a nest egg approach?
Right.
And the answer to that question, I think, was 1.5 million, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5.
Hold on, we can do this. We can do this.
We've got calculators.
Okay,
we'll be able to do it.
So you said 60.
$60,000.
And how long you gonna live? We actually did
25 years. A life expectancy.
We did a life expectancy thing, and I was not impressed.
Yeah. So
First
again,
off,
for those of you who are watching and are interested in this, most insurance companies, any insurance company really, that you go to their website, they more than likely offer calculators that are helpful for you. They're free. And one of those calculators that an insurance company's website is going to offer that you probably haven't heard of before is a life expectancy calculator, where it literally is going to ask you, how much do you weigh? How much do you exercise? How much do you drink? Do you smoke? It'll ask you all sorts of stuff. Do you wear seatbelts? I saw one website that asked, do you usually wear a seatbelt? Ask you all sorts of stuff, and then it'll literally spit out a range. Sometimes a range, sometimes a percentage. They'll say you've got a 10% likelihood to survive till 90 or something. Sometimes an age, just depending on what website you go to. Right?
Yeah. So the very first whole life, very first life insurance policy I bought for the use of the save and spend system actually has those calculators, I believe. So I went on that one. Now, I was not impressed. Number one, great-grandma, great-grandpa, grandma are older than this already. But I think it gave me a 78.
You got to drink some water, man. Did you have much water you put in there? They didn't ask that one?
I guess that's right. I don't know how much water. I mean, I'll drink a few more. Now, here's the thing. If I'm miserable at 78, go ahead and take a swig here. Jonah is taking a swig as we podcast.
Try to make it.
Nice sweatshirt, by the way. If you're not watching us, you haven't seen this. But if you are watching us, look at this, man.
Thank you guys for tuning in to the Do University here as we record this podcast.
I got
a sweatshirt that says that.
Okay, so 78, I believe. I'm trying to remember. So 78 on one of these life expectancy calculators I found. I'm sure the internet has one for you.
Yep.
So let's go 85 for you. 60 to 85.
25 years of retirement. I'm looking
$60,000
for $60,000 a year.
This is not factoring in inflation, cost of living, and things like that.
This is
Taxes.
not factoring in going on a vacation because that ain't gonna cut it at $60,000. Probably.
But it's 1.5 million.
It's 1.5.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I thought was fun. Let's take a quick look at what the article said, because again, we've done this math, but the article's got something to say also. So it literally says if you're looking at these numbers and you're worrying how your own retirement savings compare, you're not alone. According to a survey by Western and Southern Financial Group, 47% of baby boomers, who make up the majority of people in their 60s, and the oldest members of Gen X, which turns 60 this year, 2025, are not confident in their ability to retire comfortably. Another 11%, we're at 58% of baby boomers, are unsure whether they're able to retire comfortably. That's more than half.
More than half. That means it's you and me out there, the average people who live in your neighborhood.
That's right.
Okay, so if you've got a subdivision out there you're living in, and there's 100 houses in it, 50% of people are concerned.
Won't be able
Also,
to do it.
what the crap? The oldest Gen Xers turned 60 this year?
Sure do.
My goodness.
Look at this. The same survey clearly identified why baby boomers believe they're going to need an average of $760,000 saved. I like that word. Saved to retire comfortably.
Okay, so hold on. 760
Yep.
divided by 20 years, maybe.
Yeah.
$38,000
a year, which is incorrect. Right? I'm
right.
not trying to be rude to baby boomers, but baby boomers grew up in a different generation. Baby boomers are now older and they're not realizing how much stuff costs or something.
They do not realize that we got subscriptions out here now.
Yeah, it's nuts. Okay,
Yeah.
Let's keep going. It literally says Gen X expects to need more, 1.18 million. Gen X is realizing, a little, again, younger than the baby boomer, they're now going, 760 ain't it, folks. 1.18 million. And the average and the median savings below those numbers are far below those amounts. Right?
Yeah.
Far below those amounts. I thought that was so interesting when we've got here looking at the things that we talk about on our podcast, the things that we dive into, the things that we help people see. Even if you go out to third party, not affiliated with the banking bros, not affiliated with insurance companies, information, they're literally still telling you.
So here's
these numbers don't work, folks. You have to have more than that.
Here's my question then.
Yep.
For you out there at home, on the treadmill, in the truck, do you actually think you're going to retire? Or we talk about it so much, it's definitely on our radar every single week as we do cash consultations with people and we present content out there to you.
Yep.
Hopefully it's helpful and that's why you love us. Appreciate the subscription. Share it with a friend. But do people believe in retirement anymore?
I think people believe in it, but it's this wish. They're not planning for it because it's impossible to plan for.
You're just not going to get there.
You know what I mean?
The average person.
Just think. They're just like, one day, we'll be able to retire. It'll work out. And
50% of people, but the older you get, the more you've got to think, no, that's why 50-50.
Yeah.
Like 50% of people, there won't be a
there's
retirement. And what retirement has changed, too, is I retire from a 40-hour work week career.
And go to 20 at something
Yes, I go to
else.
30, I go to 20, I just go to something else. I think. I don't know. I would love for your feedback on that, ladies and gentlemen. Do you believe in the ability to have enough money, passive or piled, whichever one you're going for, that you don't work?
I think that I chatted with a young lady this last week. She's 58 years old. She wants to retire. This is how the phone call came in. So for those of you who don't know and are listening or watching out there, we offer free consultation phone calls. Well, we'll talk and walk you through your financial situation. So this young lady took us up on the offer, okay? She was 58 years old. It was actually her and her husband. Her husband's older. Her husband's 63. He's 63, she's 58. They're not retired, still actively working, and they called and they said, we've listened and heard and read some of your stuff, and we want to talk about retiring. We really want to retire in 3 to 5 years. So, of course, my first set of questions, right, was tell me what you've done up to this point, right? This is not my goal. I'm not trying to retire in 3 to 5. This is yours. So talk to me about what you have. Okay, fast forward, they had a little bit going on, but not lots. Okay, so they had different types of accounts here and there and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
But the majority of their money, we have $250,000 in a 401k. That's what we have. Okay, so
now they can draw on it because they're of age without
it's her
penalties.
401k.
So she's 59, you said.
She's 58. So no, they can't draw on it yet because it's hers.
Up. Yeah.
He was on Social Security and had some stuff, right? But
was his Social Security significant?
Actually, no, he's not on Social Security. He was on Social Security disability.
Oh, well,
so
I talked to someone
drawing Social Security benefits just yet. So that was part of our conversation too, because I was like, do you guys know about full retirement age, this thing that they made up? Oh, yeah, we know a little bit about it, but it'd be helpful to walk you through. If you guys don't know and you're listening, there's something called full retirement age in this country, United States of America. And if you go to apply or pull Social Security before you are at what the government deems full retirement age, they won't give you all of it. So we had to talk and walk through that for this couple. Like,
Right.
when do we take it? Does that make sense? Because they need the money, right? So again, $250,000. The whole point of bringing this up is they had $250,000, $250,000 in their 401k. That was their plan. 3 to 5 years, they want to retire. That's what they had. We're looking at the numbers. We're looking at this article. Were they going to make it? 250. I asked them, how much do you guys normally spend in a year? How much do you think you need in 3 years? Right?
Yeah.
And the number was not 38,000.
Well, here's what I've realized in the last week, and I think both of us, as we've become better coaches, that's what we call ourselves around here, coaches, is we find someone. You guys, here's what I've related it to recently, and just like your couple, couch to 5K. You remember people saying that and having those apps and all that? Couch to 5K. A lot of people, when they call us, are on the couch, and they're trying to get to the 5, 10K, half marathon.
Yep.
And we want you to know you are welcomed here, but a lot of people need to assess, number one, where they are.
Yep.
Where are you?
It's a big deal.
And I've had several conversations recently where some folks are a little bit apprehensive about what I might sell them on the idea of IBC or infinite banking, if you've heard us talk about that and you think you understand. And I'm getting a lot stronger at helping people with, first, let's figure out where you are. What are you trying to even do? Because we are not going to, I want to run a 5K. Great. Are you on the road running currently?
Yep.
Do you have shoes? Have you run a mile at this point?
Yeah.
Or are you on the couch? And if you are, let's start with you. Let's not pretend you're running a mile.
Yeah.
You're on the couch.
Sure.
We'll start
and
there.
And I think to your analogy,
Right,
I think it's interesting, right? Oh, I don't want to talk to them because they'll sell me shoes. Well, you need shoes to run your 5K. Why are you mad at me? You need shoes. Like,
right. Also, you got on my calendar.
Yeah. Like you.
But like, if you don't have
You didn't think
shoes,
I was gonna ask
we
you
do
if
need.
you-
Yes. Like we've got to.
Does that make sense?
We got to get there at some point. But like, if you're on the couch, we might not be talking about shoes yet.
Right.
We might be talking about, are you on the couch because you're injured?
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to run today, day one. We're going to get a massage today.
Yeah.
Like,
Can you run?
yeah.
Have you run
Yeah.
in the past? Do we need to walk?
yeah,
you
right.
know?
Have you even run before?
Yeah.
Do you? Is it you? Does the couch? Is it a love seat? Is it you plus one? You and your boo? Because if it's both of you, well, let's talk about that. It's
it.
not. I'm not going to leave that out. Like, we've got to assess the whole framework.
So this next part in the article is matches up with what I talked to these folks about in real life. Okay, so I asked them $250 in a 401k. I said, well, hey, do you know about taxes? You're gonna have to pull tax. Yeah, we know about that. Okay, cool. You know about that. So talk to me about how long $250 lasts. If we were to pull $250, how long does that last for your retirement based on what you guys do and spend and have expenses for right now? And of course, they said the same thing that we saw earlier in this article. They were like 3 years, maybe. 3, 4, 3.5. You know what I mean? Like, it's not long. And again, 50. Want to retire in 3 years? She's 58. That means 61. That means you're out of money by 64, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So then I said, okay, well, you've got it sitting in a 401k. You know, any financial advisor is going to encourage you to do 4%, the 4% rule. He says, yes, I know. She says, I've literally never heard of that. Oh, okay. I said, well, 4%. They're going to tell you to take only 4%.
To never take more than
Never take more than 4% out of your 401k. That way, it will last. It will last your retirement
years. It's like
years,
a 96% chance that it'll last
your retirement years.
Yeah.
But I said, if you're only taking 4% out of $250,000, what's the figure? Right? And it was, you'll have to help me with the math.
Yep.
I think it was less than 10 grand. 10 grand or less than 10 grand.
250 times 0.04. 10,000.
10,000, right? And I said, so we're getting $10,000 a year. How we doing? And he was like, both of them. No, that's not going to be it, right? So here's what the article says
make it through
about that, which I love.
Holiday.
I love a lot, okay? So it says, one retirement savings rule suggests having 8 times your pre-retirement annual income saved by age 60. So if you make $75,000 a year, you would need another $600,000 saved by age 60.
And the average number we got over here is 188.
180.
Well,
the median number. Then it says another calculation is based on the 4% rule, which suggests that retirees withdraw 4% of their 401k in the first year of retirement. Then you have to adjust this for inflation in each following year, which means it needs to go down folks, because inflation's going up, right? Following this rule would mean you need to have 25 times your annual expenses saved. So if you expect to spend $36 a year in retirement, which is very similar to what it said upwards in the article, but not similar to what real people told me 3 days ago.
36. That's a solo person. That's what I'm saying. Solo person in a single wide. Because who can spend 36?
You'll need to have over $900,000 saved. Right? So then it says, keep in mind most retirees don't live on their 401k alone.
Right.
Most retirees have a mix of stuff. Social Security, maybe investments, maybe an IRA, maybe side hustles. For those of you who are listening to us speak and talk here, what we suggest you have for your retirement is our save and spend system, is whole life insurance. You know, I don't know, was it last podcast or 2 podcasts ago when we looked at that article from Ernst & Young?
Yeah.
That literally said Ernst & Young recommends 30% of all of your money while you're earning it goes into whole life insurance. And then when you retire, 30% of all your wealth goes into another insurance product called an annuity. That's what we'd recommend also. So we're going to team up with Ernst & Young and say, no, you do need other things, just like this article saying, keep in mind, you need some other things. Yes, you do need other things, but we don't think that you should rely on things like Social Security, because who knows if it's going to be there. Everybody's got that question mark, right? Mm-hmm. We don't think you should rely on things like investments, because investments can go up, down, and left and right. It's market risk. We don't think you should rely on things like an IRA. I've got another lady, 78 years old, who's getting out of her IRA. She's like, it's market risk, and I lost money this year. I'm looking at it, and I'm 78. I want out, literally.
Yeah, well, I talked to a couple this weekend who is, in 2019, she thought it would be a good idea to invest in Tesla. So she put 6 figures in it.
Okay.
And she was like, that went well.
Yeah, Tesla.
That went well in the last 6 years. However, we are upside down into real estate deals.
Oh.
And see, we're bleeding our cash, but that money in Tesla has to be liquidated.
Yep.
Right? So at that point, she's waking up. That's why she's on the phone with me, because she realizes I'm going to have to get out of this to move into cash flow to save the fact that we're in trouble on these 2 real estate investments.
Yep.
But I won't be getting any gains, even if Elon takes it to the moon.
Yep.
I mean, I'm out because I need to start pulling. Like, I don't make enough money, and I'm not able to. It changes when you get to that point in your life and your mindset goes, wait a minute, I can't accumulate it anymore. I got to spend it.
That's right.
It's also going to be
the
taxable.
last paragraph of this article I wanted to read real fast here. The Western and Southern surveys, the same survey they referenced earlier in the article, found that 90% of baby boomers and 71% of Gen X expect to rely on Social Security as their primary retirement income. Whereas only about half of millennials and Gen Z respectively do. So when I read that, I think that is absolutely true.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that people of retirement age, which are boomers and Gen X, is absolutely. Social Security is the biggest check they get every month, the biggest one, because of what we're talking about here with the 401ks and the balances. The balances aren't nearly high enough, and then you only are recommended that you take out 4% from anyone who's a financial advisor, aka $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a year. That's a crazy big balance. 1.5 or whatever sitting, and you're still getting out like $40,000 a year. Your biggest check every month is actually Social Security. Wow, isn't that crazy?
It is, because I wouldn't have thought that.
You can get $3,000, $3,500.
Yeah. The guy that I was talking to, I think last night before, I think it was $3,500.
$3,500. That's basically $4,000. 3,500 times 12. That's $40,000 a year.
Right. Yeah.
$40,000. How much do you have to have in a 401k following the 4% rule to take out 40? Does that make sense?
$1 million.
$1 million. The average is 188. People don't have it. Their biggest check is Social Security.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, is that you? Hit us up. Let us know. We'll talk through this.
What we think
we'll go slow.
You could do. This article goes into some other things. 5, what you guys might have seen it on the screen a second ago. More ways to boost your retirement savings. And they're going to list for you the typical the typical ways to boost retirement savings. I do not suggest that you follow those typical ways. What they suggest, one of the ways that they suggest is make more contributions. Hey, when you're after 50 years old, you can put in an extra $1,000 to your 401k. Folks, let's be real. That's not going to be helpful. This same family, 63 him, 58 her. Okay, we're trying our best for retirement. $250,000 in a 401k. We are trying our best. We just started a Roth IRA 6 months ago. Okay, how much is in it? $500. Okay. Do you know that there's a contribution limit for Roth IRAs? It's $7,000. Now you guys are over the age, so you get the extra. So
$1,000.
$8,000.
Right.
Okay. So I said, listen, I'm not trying to tell you not to do it, but let's do some math here. You want to retire in 5 years. 8 times 5 is $40,000. Let's say you have an amazing 5 years of growth in this Roth IRA, so it goes from 40 to 50,000. How'd we do?
Right, because you didn't get all 50 in at one time. You only got 8 in at
and
a
again,
time, so it goes up.
Don't hate me here. For those of you who are listening and know the rules, there's step up. You can do like 8,000 this year, but next year it'll be 8,500 and blah blah blah.
But but we're talking about actually average or median people, and this is what they would do.
But I literally said,
and
not
I go,
only do you need to max it out, you have to max it out. And even if everything went amazing, I said let's pretend that literally you get the best return on an IRA that the world has seen, and it doubles. So you went from 40 to 80. How'd we do? Is that what you're going for? And they were like, oh, it's not, that's not going, that's 1 more year. Correct. What do we can't, that's not the answer either. Does that make sense? So when you look at this article, and we'll put a link in the show notes to the description of this podcast episode, or on YouTube, you can click it, and you can read the article. But when you get to 5 ways to boost retirement savings, please use your brain. Here, folks.
Well, that's why you can call us. That's why you can call us. But we're going to walk you through this. We're a little bit more curt and short when we talk to each other. When we talk to you, we're going to help you move from the couch to your 5K, your 10K, your half, or your full marathon.
You want to know which one of my the recommendations in this article that was the most shocking? Number 4.
Okay.
Downsize early.
Okay,
just
if you're part of the 50,
move out your house. Move out your house and get a smaller one.
Okay, so now that is I don't think that's that crazy. So I have friends and family, even where we live, who are actually planning to have the equity in their house be a big tank of money. So what they're going to do?
Sell the house.
Yes, they're going to sell the house.
They're going to get $500,000 because their house is super big.
Because that's the only shot they got.
And then they're going to use that extra $500,000.
Lots of people have done that. Lots of people will continue to do that.
Yep.
We can downsize. We should downsize. We should go to 1 floor rather than 2 or 3 stories.
Yep.
And the appreciation in our house, the equity in there, will get us some cash.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. But I'm just like, here's a way that you can prepare for your retirement. Move out your house immediately. I just was like, oh, come on.
Well, right,
There's got to be something.
Expansion is the way you'd want to go rather than contraction.
Yep.
But lots of people, contraction makes sense because they had kids in that house. The house is now aged. They could get something newer, maybe smaller. So we get it.
Yep.
100%. But I understand what you're thinking too. We're also in an expansion phase of our lives.
Yep.
We've got growing children. Now, lots of people out there don't want to move off the family house, family property. They want the grandkids to have a place to stay and to come, right? They have all their junk in that house. So they're like, holy cow, we would have to get rid of everything. And that is an insurmountable psychological hack. How do we get rid of everything?
For those of you who are going to take that advice into consideration and downsize, there's also another article I saw. We probably won't do maybe we will. It just depends. But I saw another Investopedia article that literally said 18 places that you can retire with no taxes on the 401k.
There you go.
Or Social Security.
So if you'd like to move to Walla Walla, Washington. Or BFE, Idaho.
Right.
Then, hey, I mean, that's a plan. It works for some people if you're trying to get out of the city.
It is a plan. For me personally, right, it's not the plan. I don't want that to be the plan. When I retire, I'm literally moving to small town USA.
To do nothing.
Yeah,
I don't whittle things. I want to go to the movies. I want to go to the theater. I want to go to the game. I want to get season tickets. all those things. So it's probably not me.
Yep.
Who moves in the middle of nowhere, Iowa.
You know, we're probably not doing a podcast episode on places to live. I'll show you guys a couple in case you are.
Yeah.
are
See,
interested.
what is a Gregory,
Gregory,
South
South Dakota?
Well, you and Gregory.
You can
There's
go to
you and
Corning,
Gregory.
Iowa, Mason City, Iowa.
I said Iowa twice. There
Hermitage,
it is twice.
Pennsylvania. Hermitage. I've heard of Hermitage before.
Johnstown,
Pennsylvania.
There was a flood there.
Altoona, Pennsylvania. Conway,
Johnstown
New Hampshire,
somewhere, flood.
Concord, New Hampshire.
Concord,
Anyway,
New Hampshire, freezing.
There's some in the southeast.
Freezing. Mississippi, no.
Mississippi, Sebring, Florida.
Okay,
Paris, Tennessee.
heard of that.
Port Arthur, Texas. Eagle Pass, Texas. Anyway, back to us. Those are some of the again, if that's your plan and strategy, again, sure, that is a plan.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the best plan I've ever heard, but it's a plan, and a plan is better than not having one. Absolutely. So here's what I'd say to you. If you are listening and you're going, what I've got set up for retirement just maybe ain't it.
Yeah.
You should book a call. They're free. We will talk to you. We'll be a little nicer, like my brother said, on the call to you than we are talking to each other. We'll walk you through what you've got set up so far. When's your anticipated retirement date? How much you want to retire with? What life looks like when you retire? Where you actually want to be? If you've got no family in Eagle Pass, Texas, I bet you don't want to move there. Does that make sense? And I bet you're not trying to move there just so you can get out of state 401k tax or whatever. Right? Does that make sense? Like, let's put a plan together. There are guaranteed income products that will work for you. These two families that I've mentioned, the couple, 58 and 63, and the young lady, 78 years old, both of them. As soon as we had a conversation, an hour later, and again, some of them we had 2 or 3 or 4 conversations because they wanted to go do some homework or they wanted to call their 401k provider and ask a couple questions, and they did those things. And when they call him back, they're going, I want the guaranteed income stuff because I'm not going to make it. I won't be able to accomplish my goal, and I really want to accomplish my goal. So if that's you, you should book a call. The free. The link is in the description of this video. The link is in the show notes of this podcast if you're listening, and we'll be more than happy to walk and talk you through a few things. So we really appreciate you listening, and with that, I think it's a pretty good place to wrap up today.
Yeah, lots to think about, and if you are one of those people who did some thinking light bulbs came on, make sure you get a clear picture of where you are first. Assess that. Write some things down, like Jonah's recent couple, and we'll figure out with you the moves you can still make.
Yeah, it's not about where you're starting today, right? It's about where you're headed, where you're trying to go. Are you on the couch you want to run the 5K? Well, then let's take the steps to get you there. It's about what moves you can still make and the decisions that you can make ahead of time to set you up for that.
And if this episode hit home for you, it will hit home to the 5 people around you. So make sure you share it with a friend.
Yeah, definitely don't forget to hit follow. Don't miss the next episode. We're going to be talking about something just as fun. We've got big topics coming up. You're definitely going to want to catch them.
All right, that's all for now, ladies and gents. If you take care of your money, it'll take care of you.
You are now tuned to the banking bro. Said we couldn't make it. 3 setup, this the life we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer. We taught you how to be the bank.
By their early 60s, many Americans have 401k balances far below what is widely cited as benchmarks suggested that they need in comfortable retirement. Average numbers might be $568,000, but the median number most people have is about $189,000. So we need you guys to check because you need to check for yourself. Let's take meaningful steps toward financial freedom, and let's have thoughtful planning, and let's contribute where our money can grow and cash flow. We'll talk soon.